Perfect.
All right. Hi, Jerry. Welcome to Maddi and Tawnie, Surviving and Thriving. Our-
Super glad to finally have you on and to work
We're
out.
so happy to have you here.
Thank you, and I'm so glad to be here. I mean, Maddi, we've talked many times, and Tawnie, I've watched you many times, the both of you, and so it's awesome to be here. So thank you.
I'll never forget the one time, this is maybe like a couple months ago or something, I get a message, a DM from Jerry being like, "Oh, how's it going with the mermaid?"
Oh yeah, I was so excited.
Who is the mermaid?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's awesome, though. I mean, yeah, because I didn't know you at that, that time. As now I do. I watch. I feel like I know you.
Yay. It makes me so happy. It's so cool. And just so you guys know, he taught us an awesome little nugget. So stay tuned. Some cool things are going to be coming.
Stay tuned.
Awesome.
Our YouTube channel is about to get even crazier.
You're gonna blow up. It's great.
Let's hope so. Honestly, we've made it up to 25 subscribers, Tawnie. That's kind of a lot.
For how we're not working the hashtags or the anything.
Yeah, we're not knowledgeable on this at all.
Yeah, I know.
Hashtags or anything. And but yeah, so anyways, Jerry, we're so happy to have you here. And like I said, I know that you and I have talked before, and I've gone on to your podcast before and shared my story on there. And so we're happy to finally get to have you on ours and hear a little bit more about you. Maybe do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Sure. I'm Jerry Wald, and do I want to even say it? I host a show called Let's Talk Stroke, and
yes,
yeah,
awesome. Everyone
yeah,
go check it out.
Yeah, and I did have my stroke October 19th, 2010. So, yeah, 10 years ago.
Wow.
But 10 years ago, and I'm still going through the recovery process. I mean, my right side was affected. It's so funny. I was talking to my son was here. He's still here. And my wife, I said, she cut my hair and it's kind of shiny. But if you feel the stroke happened on this side, I know it's different when you look at the camera, but my right side is affected. So my left side was damaged. That's where the stroke happened. Yeah. And if you feel it, well, you can't feel it, but if you could, it's like like bumps in the road here. It's smooth on the other side. So I had surgery there, but I had my stroke in October 19th, 2010. But what happened is I traveled a lot. I'm a banker, but I traveled so much, and I was traveling, even though I live in Texas, so I was traveling about 8 hours a day when I was traveling. Okay, when you have a stroke, things kind of get jumbled up, and when I say something, it may not make sense, or I forget. So, but yeah, I had my stroke. Then walking into the house, and my wife, I said, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go lay down. And all of a sudden, she hears me not scream, but I'm yelling. I can't move. I'm stuck standing. And it's the weirdest feeling. I never knew what a stroke was. I thought old people will have them. And so she and my son put me in the bed. And so I laid there, and then I knew the ambulance came, and they took me to one hospital. I was out probably 20 minutes after the ambulance. I can remember them asking me, who's the president? Who's the this, that? That was it. And then took me to one hospital, and then they couldn't stop the bleed. What I was told. I was talking to my wife just earlier about this. And then she told me I don't want to tell you, but she told me, she goes, I can't take it anymore. She does want to bring back those memories. Yeah. So go ahead.
How long did it take them to figure out that you were having a stroke, that's what it was?
I think they knew when they started, the face grouping, the typical signs, but I ended up at this one hospital for maybe an hour, but they couldn't stop the bleed. Then they took me to a stroke center, and they stopped it, and I was there in ICU for 9 days. So, and then from there, they moved me to the rehab hospital, where I spent probably 2.5 months there. So it was kind of a crazy thing. According to my wife, they took me into intense, I know the sun's probably bothering everybody,
I know you're
you know, but yeah, I was in intense therapy 5 days a week, probably 2 to 5 hours a day, just going through therapy. And it's just crazy. Back then I thought I was the only one that had a stroke. I didn't know what to do. I spent about 2.5 months in the hospital. And then I ended up, they released me. But just before I got released, it was Thanksgiving. They said I could have 1 day off or whatever it's called because of Thanksgiving. So they took Barb and my kids took me home, and all I kept saying is I want to go back to the hospital.
You want to keep working?
Yeah, they said that because I was really depressed. I didn't want to, because they could take care of me at the hospital. No one else could, handle me.
Right.
But, I went back to the hospital. I was like, thank you. It was kind of weird that I know they were all not ticked off. They were really depressed. They know what I was going through.
So how would you say, I guess, first question, what was it like for you waking up from having had a stroke and an operation? And then how did the stroke affect you?
Well, good questions. Actually, when I woke up which I didn't remember, I woke up and I just found out, I believe 10 years later, I just found out this. And is when I woke up, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know my wife. I didn't know my kids. I didn't know anybody.
No recognition?
Yeah.
No, they said it was about a week before I could start recognize people. I couldn't talk for about a little more than a month. And when I could talk, it was just gibberish. It was not making sense at all. As you probably, you both had strokes.
Mm. You talk great though.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can't believe, wow.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's funny you say that because right now I feel like I'm okay talking, but most of the time when it gets close to the evening time, I start making no sense. I start talking and it's a joke in our family because everybody knows when I'm talking, it makes no sense. They understand. They just kind of ignore it. Yeah. But my right side is affected. So I know I see your videos too. Actually both you and my right side, I can do my hands,
well, that's
wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. I know there's a squeaky chair, but yeah, so I'm doing that, but my foot, going fast forward to January,
of this year?
really, what's that?
Of this year?
Last year?
This year.
Oh, this year.
I was feeling really confident and I was walking, tripped over a carpet.
Oh no.
I fell and broke my hip.
Oh my gosh.
I'd rather have a stroke than a hip break, I'll tell you. I know that doesn't really sound funny or whatever, but I'll tell you, it was so painful. And then I spent 2 weeks in January 28th is when I did it. And then after that, I went to therapy for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk when I left because of COVID. So I had to learn to walk by myself. So now I'm walking, according to one of my grandkids, like a penguin. So, but it's okay. So I'm just doing my own thing, and I'm still not going anywhere just because this thing really, we're really at risk.
Yeah.
Do you, like you said, you mentioned with your foot and your walking, do you wear anything for your leg or do you use anything to help you walk?
Well, I do have the L200 plus, as you do, the
Bioness,
but I can't wear it anymore because when I broke my hip, my strength in my thigh kind of went away. So I'm wearing an AFO.
Oh, okay.
You know what an AFO is, right?
I have one. I have an AFO.
Keeps my ankle. I have a titanium one now. It's
like
really cool, but it helps me not twist my ankle, but I still have to be careful. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, like I always say in all my things, stroke is not for the weak.
Definitely not.
No. I thought it was really interesting. You said, I just now found out 10 years ago. So you first talked about you were talking with your wife and how she didn't really want to relive that, which I would love to hear more about because I think we talked to so many stroke survivors just a couple of years out. I mean, like, I know I'm only 4 years out, and I straight up have family members who are like, oh my God, will you just shut up about your stroke? And I'm like, it was a huge deal. So like, I can't imagine 10 years. Like I could, like, my mom is like, I just don't want to hear, she's like, I just don't want you to use it as like, a crutch. And I'm like, it's not a crutch. I go, it's a warning label. I'm not saying I can't do that. I'm just telling you why sometimes it's different. So like, I wonder how you're 10 years out. Give me shed some light for me, please.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And it's funny when I talk to all the stroke survivors, we know what we're going through, but everybody else doesn't know not the isolation, but what we're going through. And when I talked to my wife this evening, she told me about some of the things that you mentioned. I didn't realize that I didn't know them, my kid's wife, for about a week. And so when I finally woke up and I realized who that was, she used to walk me, they call it a courtyard in the hospital, in a break or whatever. She walked me in the courtyard and she said, why are you doing this? She said I was talking to the birds and she thought, I actually thought they're real and they're talking back to me. It's funny how your brain gets all, jumbled. Yeah. But it's like you said, it's really, it's tough. My kids, I have 4 kids and 10 now grandchildren. Yeah, it's crazy. But several of them don't know me prior to my stroke, and so they're so supportive. I have to say, I'm really blessed that all my kids, my grandkids, they know how well. My kids really know. We make fun of each other. Well, we kind of do, but they make fun of me. I cry at everything. I mean, absolutely everything. I mean, I'm watching The Voice, I start crying. I don't, that we call PBA, Sudu Barbara. I can't say the word, but yeah. So, but it's okay. Here it goes again. I can't remember a word. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. We understand.
Yeah. You're speaking to us that understand forgetting where you're like, where was I going with that? No idea. Off the birds.
Yeah. It's I've been like Maddi, I have just there it is. I bought this a while ago and I read it a few times, and it's absolutely awesome. And I actually put it on my exactly. And I put it
next to my bed.
And it's on my Instagram page, Maddi's book. And but I'm really close to finishing mine, but I'm starting to find out more things that I didn't know. Like I didn't wake up I didn't know anybody for a week. I just found out tonight when I was talking to my wife, and then she didn't want to go back because she spent days and days in the elevator up and down crying because she didn't know if I'm going to, come out of it. She couldn't find the truck. She had calls because I did all the bills. She had no clue. People are calling me out of the blue, like you owe this money, you owe this. I did everything, and it's amazing how,
That's so crazy that like 10 years out, you're still learning things about that time.